Okay. Were you able to see that? All right. So, like I said, this is the Career Accelerator Fund graduate info session. So some of the things we'll kind of talk a little bit about. It's the Center for Career and Professional Success, or the Career Success Office, which we work within. We'll also talk about what is the CAF, what are CAF eligibility and selection criteria, some of the application requirements, what are career building experiences and opportunities. Trying to make it smaller. Okay, can we make it smaller? Just put down here. Okay. All right. What are career building opportunities? And then funding and budgeting, because that is very important. And then how to apply. And then we'll also have time for you to ask us questions. So a little bit about our office. So we have two arms of our office. So we have the career development side, which Barbara is a part of the career development team. They help students develop their potential, set goals, and then talk through their experiences so they can thrive. And then we have the industry connection side, which is the team that I am a part of within our office. We connect students with employers and alumni from a wide range of industries that reflects all of our majors within arts and sciences. And then we also have flexible services for students, a lot of easy drop-in services, some asynchronous tools that will help students have their career design at their own pace and convenience. So just a little bit more about the Career Success Office and who we are.
So some of the services that we offer are the Career Studio. This is where you could do quick drop-in career assistance by some of our trained peer career coaches. So your peers, you don't need an appointment. You just need to bring in your resume or cover letter, things like that, and they can help you with it. Career coaching, there are 5 career coaches in our office, myself and 4 other coaches, and we provide the one-on-one career development and exploration in your appointments. Career fairs, there's the network with potential employers from a wide range of industries. We also offer career immersions and treks. This is where we go local, regional trips where you can speak with employers in different industries. We offer these treks. We do a variety of them, each year. So it may range with what industries we choose. Alumni services, continued support and resources through interview preparation, resume, cover letter assistance, alumni, mentorship, and so much more.
So these are all services that our office provides that is available to any undergraduate and graduate student that is within arts and sciences, as well as if you are a graduated grad or undergrad, you still have access to our office for 2 years after graduation. So that is a very nice benefit that you can still connect with coaches and connect with our office even after graduation. So what is the Career Accelerator Fund? So the CAF provides financial support for students, undergraduate students and grad and undergraduate students within the College of Arts and Sciences. So this is for students who are participating in an unpaid or minimally paid career building experience for the summer term. So for summer 2026 semester, experiences would have to be happening around that time frame. And it's meant to alleviate any financial barriers so that students can really pursue impactful experiences. We do not want students to feel like they have to limit themselves due to the financial aspect, because we know that can be a hindrance. And so the CAF is there to hopefully support students and encourage them to reach for their own career potential. So for award amounts, the awards are within $250 increments up to $5,000 per recipient. So the minimum that a student can receive is $250, and then the max that a student can receive is $5,000. How those are awarded depends on the application itself. the documents that are submitted to support the experience and why assistance may be needed, as well as based off of where you are at within your cost of attendance. So we do work with student financial aid to ensure that students who are awarded, they are able to receive that award amount and it is applied to their student account. Now, how it's applied is dependent upon the student. You have direct deposit, or if you would like a check to be mailed to you, those options are available. And so it is up to the student to make sure that they have updated their information and that it reflects how they would want money funds to be deposited. And students must have a confirmed career building opportunity. So for the undergraduate CAF, you do have to have a confirmed opportunity before you submit your application. So when you submit your application, your opportunity should be confirmed. For the graduate side, students are able to apply for a CAF even if they have not confirmed their experience, but it is in progress. So that is one difference between the undergraduate CAF and the grad CAF. However, information-wise, it's still the same. So awards are dispersed for the summer term, as I mentioned. The applications are currently open. They open January 2nd, and they do end on March 12th. So it is a considerable amount of time for students to get all of their materials together and submit in time. And then disbursement would happen at the start of the summer term. So some of the information here we'll kind of briefly talk about. However, there will be a detailed virtual info session happening on Thursday, January 22nd. So next Thursday, we will have a virtual undergraduate CAF session as well as a graduate CAF session. So some of this information we will briefly run through because we will have a much detailed session later. But who is eligible to apply? So you have to be within the College of Arts and Sciences. So you do have to have a major. You have to be pursuing a degree within the College of Arts and Sciences. You do have to be a Columbus campus student. So unfortunately, CAF is not open to our regional campus students. And you do have to have already obtained your career building opportunity. You cannot be a moral scholar or you cannot have any other full ride scholarship. You cannot be a full-time Ohio State employee, and you cannot have previously been awarded the CAF. You do have to be in good academic standing, so you cannot be on any special action probation or academic probation. And then you do need a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. If you are not at the minimum GPA, that is okay. You can still apply. However, you would just need to make sure that your documents really speak to who you are as well as your academic and career goals. Our process, so we do look at the application that is submitted. We do look at how the experience will impact your career and academics. And then is there merit to your experience? So based off of what you submitted, can we see the connection between your academics and your career goals? So that is a very important piece, especially for our arts students. Barb, wouldn't you say that is a huge area that we see students sometimes are not able to really translate?
Yeah, because the passion is there. We understand this is something that you've been interested in all your life. You're great at it. But how do we connect it to a career, to your academic goals? And so that may be a little of a challenge that speaking with a career coach could be helpful there.
Yes. So last year applicants, so we did have a total of 126 applicants, and we were able to award just about 30% of those students. So we do see this increasing for this year, which we're very excited about. But we want to make sure that each student is set for success and they are aware of what they need in terms of the required documents. All right. So we are going to now show the website. So here you can find all of the information regarding the Career Accelerator Fund for undergraduate and graduate students. It is on our ASC Career Success website under Find a Job or Internship. And then you would click Career Accelerator Fund. It will branch off for undergraduate and graduate CAF. So whichever CAF that you are eligible to apply for, you can go ahead and see that information. So some of the things that we have available for students is what funds, right? So that is a question we get all the time. It's like, what type of funding is available? So we know you can be awarded up to $5,000, dependent upon student circumstances and situations. But we do have 3 funds. So we have a primary, which is overall, and that's for any of the opportunities. But we do have some special funds, which we're very excited to be able to partner with the Barnett Center. And they have created a Barnett Center Creative Fund. And so that is what we will really be talking about, thinking about creative opportunities within the fine arts, art and design, because we know that there are so many opportunities growing. And that is an area that we are really wanting to encourage students to apply for the CAF. So we do have some information about the Barnett Center Creative Fund and what we will ask in your application. So when you access your application, and applications are available through Scholarship Universe, in your application, we do have a question that will ask you if you would like your opportunity to be considered for the Barnett Center Creative Fund. So it is something you can self-identify. However, if a student does not select that they would like to be considered for the fund, we will still look through all applications. And if your opportunity is within the creative arts and is eligible, it can still be awarded for the Barnett Center Creative Fund. So even if you don't select it, we will still look at it. However, we encourage students to self-identify if they feel their opportunity falls within the creative fund. So part of what we are asking for students who identify that they would like their opportunity to be within the Barnett Center Creative Fund, we do ask that they, within their career impact personal statement, that they do address how your academic and professional goals align with the focus of the sub-fund, and then how receiving this support would contribute to your development and success. So really taking how to translate your passion that you have. How do you translate that for your experiences, but also how do you connect what you are wanting to do and what you're seeking? How do you connect that to your academics? How do you connect that to your overall professional goals? And that is where we have the one-on-one CAF planning that you can get with coaches. We have our career studio, which we'll also talk a little bit more about. And then there was a section that you can contact Barbara and I if you have other questions. But we are really encouraging students to lean in to their opportunities, to their passion, thinking about how the experience they're going for this summer, how will that impact your overall academics? How will that impact your overall career goals? Like, will this experience, maybe you're working in a gallery, how will that help you move forward and progress to where you want to be? If you're doing research, we had quite a few students who were doing creative opportunities and were focusing in on research. We had a student who did a film documentary for their research thesis, and they were able to be awarded. We had students who did receive the Barnett Center Creative Fund who were in music education. So we've had a wide range of opportunities, and the sky is truly the limit. But we do try to at least provide some guidance as you are considering your opportunities. And we have coaches like Barbara, who also really works within the arts to help you figure out and identify areas to ensure that your passion reflects just as much as your professional goals will reflect. Can I add anything?
No, you got it.
So also in here, like how we can support. So if you're looking for creative learning experiences, if you're looking for a professional certification or a membership, maybe you want to go to a conference, maybe you want to be a part of a festival. Those are opportunities that the CAF can support. Also, innovative career development. We want students to find opportunities that may not necessarily be there. And you reach out to professionals within the industry and you get your own opportunity that's different. We love that. We want to see the different opportunities. We want to see that creativity, and we do not limit what that can be. We have had a little bit of everything in between. Barb, do you have any creative art opportunities that students have, pursued with CAF that you find?
Yeah, I think the one that has always been my favorite is the multicultural cookbook. Putting that together and just using the creativity and interviewing people, dance documentaries in New York, right? So just I love that that people are not relying on, oh man, I couldn't find an internship. Let's create it. What do you need? Let's create it.
Absolutely. And we know that's really important. Like, we know that sometimes it can be hard to see how your passion can really create opportunities for you. But we know it's possible, and we encourage that. Maybe this is the summer where you try something new. Maybe you've had an interest in a particular area and you just want to go for it. We want to see those things. So it can be within any art form, any art form that you would like to utilize, that it creates, a lens of your creativity, but it also shows us how you are developing as a professional. We've also had students who did entrepreneurial projects, who wanted to launch things within the community or do a community garden. So there's been all types of opportunities. And so we really do encourage students to really think through some of the things that they're looking for and what they want, and connect with us so we can help you find the way to what you're trying to get. So we do want to make sure that we highlight our lovely donors here, Lawrence and Isabel Barnett, because they truly believe in student support and the impact within the arts and what that can have for students in their lives. And so we do have a little bit about our donors and their legacy. And so we're really excited to continue what the Barnetts have fostered. And we want to continue to encourage students to pursue these opportunities because we know they're valid, even if it doesn't necessarily seem like the traditional way. That is okay. It is still very much a valid experience. The biggest thing is, how can you speak about it? And Barbara and I are going to really talk about some of those items as well. And we also have a testimonial from 2 students who did receive the Barnett Fund last CAF cycle. And so you can see what their opportunity was and what their majors are. So, it is very much open to any student within arts and sciences who want to pursue these creative avenues. We support that. So we kind of talked a little bit about the selection criteria here and what is required. One piece that is required, we do require students to either complete a drop-in Career Studio resume review or a 30-minute CAF coaching appointment with one of our career coaches. And so this is an important piece of the application. So we want to make sure that students are set for success, especially when it comes to the resume. So our selection review committee, they utilize the resumes when they are reviewing opportunities. So it's important that your resume is glowing, it's representative of you and your experiences, but it also has some key information, right? Like, what is your major? Is that listed? When is your expected graduation? Do you have any scholarships or grants that maybe you've been awarded? And what other professional development opportunities have you pursued, either within your academics or outside of that? That helps us to see you as a full individual, and it brings additional light and justification to your document. So we really encourage students to ensure that their resumes are up to date and current with their information, and it's within a format that is easy for our reviewers to read. So you complete your application in Scholarship Universe, but you will have to submit some required documents. So all of the documents here that are listed, these are going to be required documents that you will add to your application. So we'll talk a little bit about the budget worksheet and how you can tailor that for a creative arts experience. And then we also have your career impact statement. And that statement is just you are really highlighting your academic goals and your professional goals. So you're really bringing in how are you connecting the two? What is it that you're learning that's going to help you in this opportunity? But also, how will your summer opportunity help you with your professional development? And what does that look like? So your career impact statement really answers some of those questions for us and for the selection committee. An opportunity description. So you will submit a document that just tells us a little bit more about your opportunity, whether it's a flyer, if it's a job posting, maybe your professor sent you an email asking you to be a part of their research. That can also work. So we know that there are going to be different items that will work depending on the opportunity, and we're open to that. We just ask that we can see here that your opportunity is valid. That is the main thing. Like, can you show what this opportunity is? Can you describe it? And can we see it based off of what you submit? So if it's a visual thing, if you're submitting, a graphic, can we tell from what you submitted what this opportunity is? As mentioned, your current resume, and then your career opportunity certification letter. When you are looking at the website, at the very bottom, we do have a frequently asked questions section, and there it will go into detail every aspect of the application, the documents you will need. So for your resume here, we do have a template that we ask students to utilize. So this is a template that we have students to use for their resume. If you are using a different template, that is okay, but just make sure some of the information that's highlighted in here would also reflect your own resume. Anything to add with the resume, Barb?
Just to keep it simple, use the template, and you don't have to change things around. You can keep the other ones that you have, but for the purpose of the application, I would strongly suggest to just download ours and use that.
Yeah, so it is available. You can download the copy, download the file, and then you can input your own information. If we want you to use this template, this is one that we are asking students to utilize because it does have all the information we need. And when you go for the career studio appointment, which is a drop-in appointment, or you meet with a coach, this is something that you would need to be able to provide.
Let's go up. Because most importantly is we need to make sure we have your contact information right. But we also need to know that you're in the College of Arts and Sciences. What is your major? When are you graduating? And that you're on the Columbus campus. So that information at the top is most important. And so without using this template, sometimes that information could be missing. So that was the reason for trying to stay with this to make it a little more simple and unified.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So like we said, we do have more information here. When you do visit the Career Studio, it is unlimited drop-in appointments. So we do have peer career coaches who will look through your resume. They will help make sure that all the information that's required is there. They can also point you in the right direction if there's other things that you may need, like your LinkedIn or Handshake. Maybe you need help with your profile. They can help with that. But for the purposes of CAP, they would be looking at your resume. So your career building opportunity. This is where you are deciding what your summer opportunity is going to give you. So whatever that looks like, whether it's research, an internship, or something else, we just want to make sure that you can truly speak to the experience and connect it back to what you are learning and what you hope to do later as a professional. As we said, your opportunity description, we accept all different types of descriptions that you can submit. So a weekly schedule, a letter, an actual description from the organization. All of those things can work. So you would submit this as a document, as a PDF document with your application. Your career impact statement. So we limit to 3,000 characters. And so this is where you are going to articulate the connection of the opportunity that you are pursuing to your overall career exploration and development. And so we're wanting you to address how is this going to advance your career goals, your academic goals, but your overall exploration. Maybe you want to take, a painting workshop. You're not a painter, but it's something that you have a passion for and you want to connect it to something that you're doing within your academics. That can work as well. So it is very much open, but we need to make sure we can see this clear connection. Your opportunity certification, that is just going to come from your either an employer or your faculty member that you're working with. So someone who is going to be a part of this experience with you. So if it's a mentor, you can utilize a mentor. If it is a faculty member who is doing something that will kind of serve as your internship supervisor, then that would work as well. If you're doing research, then you would need to have a letter of support from a faculty member that can really just speak to what the experience is and how is it going to connect to some of the theories and skills you're learning. Anything to add, Barb?
I just think that one of the things I like to focus there is what is it that you think you're missing? What is it that you want to gain from this? And crafting it that way. So all the things that you're learning in class, what your goals are, what am I missing? Let this be that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a template. So we try to make it as easy as possible for students. So we do have a career opportunity confirmation template. And so what this does is just going to ask some questions. So it's going to ask for you to fill this information out. So the applicant, you can fill out some of this preliminary information, and then you can send that to your supervisor or the individual who will be doing your certification. So we do ask that you fill out the information that they need, and then you send it to them and they complete the rest. They'll send it back to you, and then you will submit that. So we do ask that you utilize this template and that the information that is listed that we ask for is there. We do check and confirm with every employer or any person who does a certification. We do confirm with them and we reach out to them. So make sure that all of the contact information is up to date, because that can impact where you can be in our review process.
Mm-hmm. I think this also, while we need this for your application, but I think this also helps your hold your supervisor or whoever's going to be supervising you accountable, because while this, is an internship or career building opportunity, you need to know you're getting something out of it. I'm not just going to go get coffee, right? What am I gaining from this? Yes. And if you're asking them, when is this start? When is this end? How many hours I'm going to be working a week? And specifically what I'm going to be doing, that helps to make sure that this is a valuable experience and holding them accountable, because it'll be in writing. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a great point. So then, like we said, that was your certification letter. We did the resume here. We have more details about the opportunity description that you can look through on your time. The budgeting aspect is a big piece, right? Barb always has very good information when it comes to the budget. So I'm going to let Barb take that one away. Yeah.
So the budget worksheet, I believe, is the integrity of your application. Okay. So if you have an experience, it's important to know, what do I need the money for, and be realistic, right? Your integrity is important. So if you're doing an internship over the summer and you're going to be working 5 hours a week, you're not taking classes, you're not doing anything else, you do not need $1,500 for food for 5 hours a week over the summer for 12 weeks, right? So thinking about, what do I need this money for? And do I have integrity for it? And the way you do that is by giving as many details as possible. Okay. So if I'm going to say I need $500 for something over in this far right column, you can go in and put the details for that. Okay. We don't need to know I'm spending $1 for that, right? But we would like to know, how are you using the money? Right. And that shows us that you've thought through this opportunity. You value the CAF fund. You're not pulling away from, from other people. We want to make sure that this is going to be useful to you. Looking at all of the different opportunities that you can use the money for. Also looking towards the bottom of any other funds that you receive. We also want to take into account that, when you're filling out the budget worksheet, you may be working a part-time job. And when you go to add things up on that first page, Joy, you may be working a part-time job. So if you put in here in the bottom part about what your income is going to be during the internship, it may show one amount and that'll be subtracted from the amount that you need. But if you tell us that, hey, I normally would work this many hours, my hours are going to be reduced so I can do this internship. I'm also going to be taking 2 classes over the summer. We can take all of those things into account. And then we can say, okay, this is valid, what the student is asking for, right? But if we don't have that information, we can only go off of what you give us. So the more detail we have, the better. And if there's a question about the budget worksheet, I strongly encourage you to meet with the coach or, reach out to Joy or I and ask us. Do not submit your application without having confirmed that, because you're not going to get a chance to go back and get it, right? So make sure that you are presenting your application as best as you can, and you have the details, as best as you can. So such as I am going to be out of state, right? And I need to get temporary housing. I also have my apartment here in Columbus. I'm getting a plane ticket. I need to, right? So things like that. How much does the plane ticket cost? Not just, an arbitrary number that you're giving us. So again, the more details you can provide, the better it makes you have a stronger application. And that would be my best piece of advice: is more is more is better in this case. Okay.
Yeah. And one of the things with this scholarship fund that's a little bit different than others is that we do allow students to use it for housing costs, food costs, transportation, just overall living. Cost of living is high, and we understand that. And so we know that can also attribute to some of the opportunities that you may want to pursue, or you may be discouraged in pursuing. You can use CAF funding to support your living needs, right? So if you, like Barbara said, if you are going to be subleasing, or you have rent for those 2 months in the summer, or you need to get a bus pass, whatever that looks like, maybe you need to fly to New York or another location that you're going to be at. Maybe you're going to a conference. All of those things can be added in your budget worksheet. Like Barbara said, the more you give us the full picture, the better it will be. Because our selection reviewers are made up of career success staff, but also staff and faculty within arts and sciences. So we as staff, we understand what the budget worksheet is and what you're needing. However, your faculty member may not necessarily get, why are you putting your $1,200 rent on here? Like, how does that attribute to what you need? So you really have to kind of fill those blanks in for us. And we're really excited that with the Barnett Center Creative Fund, we do have fine arts faculty that will be reviewing applications. So we are so excited for that. We do have individuals who know some of these opportunities and can really help give us some of the connectors that we may not know, because that's not our field of expertise. So I say that to say, whatever you put in your budget worksheet, think about that as well. If someone is reviewing this, can they understand what I need? If you're looking at art supplies, right?
Yeah. I was going to say that, so this is not our lane, right? So, but if you have faculty who work in this space, and a student sends in an application and they say, I need this much for these art supplies. We're like, really? Do you really need that? And then one of our reviewers, which is, faculty, they may say, yeah, it really does cost that much. So, right. So that level of industry knowledge and insight is really helpful and supportive, for any of our creatives that are applying.
Yeah. We did have a student who was a music major who was going to a conference and needed sheet music because that costs. And so that was something that they added as a material, is that they needed quite a bit of sheet music. And so they were able to use the CAF fund for that. So anything that is going to assist in your career building opportunity, that can be an extra expense, add that to your budget worksheet. The more you add, the better. Any awards that you are receiving or that you have, submitted an application for, or you may be hearing back from, we do want to take that into account, because when we do send this information to financial aid, that can be flagged if you are slated to receive an award already. That could impact how much you could possibly receive with the CAF. And so the more information we have, the better. And we do have a appeal process as well. If we hear back from financial aid and they say, oh, this student can only receive $1,000 in their award, that's the max they can receive, we will let the student know the max that you can receive is this amount. If you want to go through an appeal process with financial aid to possibly receive more, here's that process. So we do communicate with you all within your OSU email. So we'll send you some updates and things like that, which is why we encourage you to start your application early. Start getting some of these required documents done sooner. We don't want you waiting on your faculty member or your employer, whomever is doing your certification. We don't want you waiting for them to get things done. So the sooner you can get this in front of them, the better, because then if there's any issues, we have some time that we can possibly connect with you and help you, get that together. Like Barbara mentioned, the loss of income. So if you're working a job and your summer opportunity, you will no longer be able to work the 20 hours a week you were previously working. And now, you missed out on 10 hours that you would normally be paid. You can put that in your budget worksheet. We want to know, what is your income loss? It is completely up to you if you want to disclose that information. However, that has played a huge impact for students in the terms of how much we were able to award, because we were able to see the justification and the need.
And a lot of times students will work over the summer to cover their expenses for the upcoming year, right? And so at its core, CAF is so that you don't have to make what I call life decisions between, propelling your career and paying your bills, right? So,
yes. And you can use the funds for abroad experiences. So as I mentioned, we encourage career exploration, and we know that can look different depending on the student and the circumstances. And so if you are doing an abroad experience, that is perfectly fine. If you are completing your abroad experience through the Office of International Affairs, and it's one of their OSU sanctioned global education programs, you can still use CAF funding for those programs. We know there are some substantial fees that are associated with some of those programs. CAF can help alleviate that. If you are pursuing an abroad opportunity that is not OSU sanctioned, so maybe you found this on your own, which we've had students find opportunities on their own and went to Paris to work at a museum because that's where they wanted to be. That is fine to do so. However, we do encourage students to make sure that it is a true opportunity, that it is a true individual who is preparing to help you with this opportunity. So the risk assessment piece, we do work with the Office of International Affairs. So you do have to submit a global health and safety form, a travel form, even if your opportunity is not sanctioned by OSU. So if this is your own opportunity that you have found, maybe you're going to that art museum, maybe there's a festival you want to play at, that is okay. However, you do have to inform the university of your upcoming travel. And some of the questions they'll ask, where are you going? What are the dates you will be there? What's the address? Any information you can provide. And then the Office of International Affairs, so OIA, they will do a risk assessment based off of what you submitted. And if where you're going is a high risk location, so high risk that is deemed by the university, if that is a high risk location, OIA will connect with you to let you know that your said country you plan to visit is considered a high risk, and to reevaluate that assessment, and they'll work through that process with you. So this is where it's really, really important to truly exercise extreme caution. If you are pursuing an abroad experience on your own, we do ask that you just make sure that you completely vet that process and that individual. Connect with OIA if you have questions about traveling abroad. Connect with us as well if you have questions about, is this opportunity credible for CAF? And we will work with you. So like I mentioned, we encourage you to find career exploration, whatever that looks like, but we want it to be safely done. And we want it to be somewhere that we know you will be safe. We will reach out to that individual, that location that you plan to be at, to also do our own vetting to ensure that this is a true, incredible experience. But ultimately, it is up to you to ensure that where you are wanting to go and travel is somewhere that is safe and that can meet your needs. So, but you can use the CAF funds for abroad experiences. We had students who went to Italy, to France. We had some that went to Brazil, doing the dance troupe in Brazil. So we've had students who are doing some of these abroad experiences that were sanctioned by the university and some that they pursued on their own. And you are free to do so, but just please exercise extreme caution, connect with us before you pay any type of funds or, finalize your housing or anything like that. Connect with us so that we can work through it with you. You can receive academic credit. So if you're taking a course and your experience is going to work towards that course, you can still use the funds, even if you're using the experience for academic credit. So we do say, if that is something you're doing, to work with your department, your advisor, to ensure that the course, works with the experience. We talked a little about that financial aid package. Where to apply? You will apply in Scholarship Universe. You all have access to Scholarship Universe as an OSU student. That is the university's application system. So any awards or any scholarships that you are eligible for would show up in your Scholarship Universe portal. And if you are unable to find the CAF application, please connect with Barbara and I so that we can ensure that you have access to that application. Okay. Yeah, please.
I just want to go back a little bit to the receiving academic credit score.
Right. Yeah.
So while you can use CAF to support your experience, if you are receiving academic credit, we do want to note the CAF cannot cover tuition. Okay. So it will cover whatever your expenses are when you're doing this opportunity and you're getting credit, but it cannot cover. You cannot say, hey, send CAF over and cover my tuition for this particular class. I just want to point that out.
Thank you. Yeah. So ultimately, we are encouraging all students to, especially within the fine arts and the creative arts, to really utilize the CAF, to apply for the CAF award, and let that help you with your overall academic and career goals, because we know there are credible experiences that are happening within the creative space. And we want to ensure that students feel encouraged to explore those opportunities. So please, if you are interested in applying for the CAF, like I said, we do have a sub-fund, the Barnett Center Creative Fund, that is made exactly for creative arts students and fine arts students. They are the only ones who can receive funds through the Barnett Center Creative Fund. So we really want to make sure we get the word out to all students, to faculty and staff, that we do have funding for students that are pursuing the arts, and that we do find that to be important. And we want to ensure that students feel that it is a place of importance for our office and that we have staff to assist. I'm going to kind of highlight Barbara here. She works within the creative arts space. These are her students. This is one of her populations that, she supports. And so you can absolutely schedule a CAF planning appointment with Barbara, or even just a overall planning appointment. It may not have to be do with CAF. Maybe it's just overall mock interviews or how to make my LinkedIn more optimized. You can meet with a career coach like Barbara or one of our other coaches can absolutely assist you. So please use these resources, connect with us, because we want to have more opportunities for our students. And the only way that can happen is if we get the word out there. So with that being said, go ahead.
One of the benefits, and thank you so much, Scott, right? One of the benefits of working with the Barnett Center is that we are giving creatives an opportunity to have something just for them, right? So when the CAF started, it was just the primary fund. So that meant that anyone who was applying were all grouped into this one fund. But when we have these sub funds, this is a pool of money that is just for people who are creatives, right? So no one else can get this. This allows you to have, just for me, right? Okay. And so we also have the one for the Brownie. And while you guys can get the primary, no one else can get the creative, right? So this gives you a separate pool of money to pull from. And that is thanks to the Barnett Center. Yes. And I am very passionate about creatives, right? And so I'm happy that we finally have something specifically for you. Just want to throw that out there.
Yes, definitely. Huge appreciation and gratitude to the Barnett Center staff, to Dr. Scott Jones for his support and helping us to bring some more visibility within the creative space and to show students that it is an area that we find to be important. And we want to encourage them to find opportunities that speak to you, that, you may not would have considered otherwise. Those are the opportunities to go for. And so we are here for any assistance. If you want to think through things, if you have questions, reach out to us. We will never say, don't contact us. Right. You can contact us as many times as you want. If you do a CAF planning appointment with a coach, you can only have 2 appointments. So that is the difference. If you do a CAF coaching appointment, you can only have 2 appointments. However, any other coaching appointment, it's unlimited for you. So do want to make that a note that if you are going for a CAF planning, you can only go 2 times. And that is just to ensure that we are creating a process that's consistent for all students, and that there's no special consideration or assistance being done to students who may have gone 3 or 4 times. So that is kind of what that is there for. But you can always email us and ask us any questions, and we're happy to help. So with that being said, I'm going to stop our recording here. Okay.
You two are very good at just speaking.